And hello, everybody, and welcome back to the show. I hope everyone's having a great week. I gotta slow down when I talk. Sometimes I'm just talking as fast as I possibly can. I don't know why. I hope everybody is having a great week. We've been talking about this concept of integrating information. The idea that information that comes at us, that we know and understand intellectually, has a very low likelihood of it actually getting into our heads in a way that we can use it. It doesn't work like that. The system doesn't happen, it's a fake out. We think it works like that when it doesn't. We think I understand it. Why can't I do it for? Something's wrong with me. Nothing's wrong with you. Just the way it works. You have to apply it. Now, what we spoke last week was about, first of all, these two concepts, right? Understanding and conditioning. Now, what conditioning really is conditioning is finding a way to chisel the information to such a degree in which you can fit it into your mind. So your mind already has a information superhighway, and you got to fit it in. You can't make your own lane whenever you want. It doesn't work like that. You want to build a new a rest stop, you got to find the highway and put it on the existing highway, right? You could redirect the highway. That's cool. You just can't wake up one morning and poof, a new highway. You want to change your life. You want to add something new. You could do it. That's the beauty and the brilliance and the gift of the mind that God gave us. It is neuroplastic. It is changeable. It is malleable. It is adaptable. It happens all the time. It happens every second. Remember we spoke with the Tetra study. Just go to a different country for a month and you'll start to adapt to a new environment, right? We're in the time of school starting right now. You see this all the time. When kids start schools, in the beginning, they're overwhelmed, especially if they go to out of town, if they leave the country, if they go to a new, whatever it is. It's like overwhelming and I can't do it and it's impossible. Usually that kid who goes to junior high or to high school or to university or to yeshiva, whatever it is, when a kid goes to a place that is brand new, their brain is like, what in the world are we doing here? Over time, it feels normal. The brain adapts. If you want to put change into your life, you got to find the highway that it fits into and just redirect the lane. And that's how you make change. It's hard. It's just not complicated. How do you do it? Well, you have to chisel the information down. This is what we spoke about a couple of days ago from the research done by Anders Ericsson on deliberate practice. So let's get into the example again. So you want to, act differently, right? You want to be more sensitive. Let's use that example. You want to be a more sensitive person. So you start to recognize that there are times in which you are self-centered. You're not empathetic. You're not sensitive to somebody else. And you start to figure out, okay, how do I become sensitive? What do I got to do? So you take the information of how do I be sensitive, and what Anders Ericsson is saying is you have to engage in 10,000 hours of deliberate practice, right? You have to now practice sensitivity. You got to wake up in the morning, okay, I know what I got to do. I got to be more sensitive. I got to be more empathetic. How do I do that? So you start to practice. This is the joy and the challenge of life. Life is one large dress rehearsal. You don't got to be perfect. You just got to practice every day. I once read this once where, I forgot where I read this once, but it gave me a lot of inspiration when I was writing the book, where some famous writer wrote, I've never written a book, and he's written like 20, I forgot which one, in which I didn't think that all I was doing is handing in a draft. Like, he reads his book off the shelf and thinks, oh my gosh, this is just a draft, had they publish it. And then he realized that that's how you write books, right? If you ever sat down to write anything before, you know that if you sat down to like, I hope it's perfect, you're never gonna write, right? The minute you want to make things perfect, you just stop doing them. The only people that write books are people that sit down and go, this is gonna be terrible, like it's gonna be terrible, but whatever, and you start typing. The next version, this is gonna be a little less terrible. And then you start marking it up, and you're like, okay, it's barely readable, but fine, it's a little bit better. I could see it forming. And then time, you finally have something. But if you sit down at a computer and you're like, how do I write it perfectly? You're not writing it, because that's not how it works. Things that are worth something have been iterated. You and I have been iterated. We didn't come into this world figuring out anything. Everything that you have in your head is just an iteration of something that you did wrong beforehand, right? I have a podcast with Dean Noam Wasserman. It's called the Founder's Dilemmas Podcast. Check it out. It's awesome. Dean Wasserman is amazing. We just spoke about this concept of a failure, a quote of Noah Weinberg, and how failure is the precondition to success. You've heard this a million times. What is that? So what it really is that life is iterative. Just how life works. It's iterative. It's constantly regenerating. Your body is regenerating itself. The way you operate is through failure. The way your brain orients information is through iteration. Right? Remember the example? The Cheerios. Like, you don't wake up in the morning and go, oh, Cheerios. Like, you don't do that. Like, no 2-year-old. I mean, unless it's like some crazy genius is like, or 6-month-old looks around and goes, you know what? Can I get that? Can I get honey bunches of oats? It doesn't work like that. It iterates. He or she takes a letter and then a sound and puts it together, and that's how it works. You don't just wake up in the morning and get math. You iterate. You don't get the Talmud. You iterate. That's why what's so incredible, if you ever studied Talmud, what's really special, if you ever studied a page of Talmud, if not, I'll explain to you, I think one of the most inspiring parts of it, believe it or not, is when you're done with a chapter, or when you're done with the entire tractate, or when you're done with the entire Talmud, the first thing you say when you're done with the last word is Hadron. Hadron, it means I will return. Right? It's an incredible concept, meaning you just finished an entire tractate of Talmud. It was excruciating. It was complicated, and you did it. It was wonderful, but it's hard. Like, Talmud's hard, and you get to the last page, and you get to the last line. It doesn't say congratulations. It doesn't say like, Mazel Tov underneath it. It says we will return to you. Every chapter, every tractate, every book, every order, every Talmud. Why? Because it's iterative. You think you got the Talmud? Like, you didn't get anything. You just got your first. This is your 10th pass or first. Okay, just go. And that's what great rabbis do. They close it and then they just open it again. Like, they just do it again. Just, all right, like, just flip to the front. Let's do this again. And then they do it again. Like, holy cow, I had no idea. I missed this. And just how information seeps in. Information seeps in, conditions in, only through iteration. There's no one that gets it right the first time. That's how it fits, is you iterate it. You try it, and you see where you won and where it didn't work, and you think and go, how did I mess this up? And you do it again. And you try it, and you do it again. The way you win is by iteration. All right, we'll talk about this. All right, everybody. Have an awesome day. Think about your life. If you want to do something fun, if you can get as if I have this, if we can get in our heads that we're just practicing, that we're just in dress rehearsal, man, how much stress would come off our heads right away? Like, can you imagine that? Just practicing. I don't know how to be a parent. I'm just practicing. I don't know how to be I don't know how to do anything. What do I know? I've only been in the world for a bunch of years. I'm just practicing. If we just thought that way, how much more fun would life be? All right, we'll talk about this. All right, everybody, have a great day. And with the help of God, I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.